Please note that the Burn It Nutrition podcast is for educational purposes only and is not meant to substitute for the advice of a doctor. Please consult your GP before using any of the techniques or products discussed on this show. Hope you like it.
Welcome to episode 6 of the Burn It Nutrition podcast. I'm your host, Joseph Navarro. On today's show, we will learn about an epic journey that tested the abilities of two brave athletes and learn the importance of setting goals that truly challenge you. We will also go into an in-depth look at the champion of all exercises, the deadlift. But first, let's hear the news and announcements. If you want to know exactly what you need to do to achieve a body transformation and get the body you've always wanted in a healthy, effective, and sustainable plan, then download your copy of 5th Stage Keto. And best of all is that I have recently converted 5th Stage Keto into an audiobook. Yes, now you can sit back, relax, and listen to this powerful body transformation plan from the comfort of your warm couch. What is really special about 5th Stage Keto is that you get both the 120-page ebook as well as the audiobook. So now you can follow along on your laptop or tablet while you listen as it is narrated for your enjoyment. I know that many of us don't like reading for too long, and it even may take some of us several months to finish one book. This is no longer an issue. This audiobook is unlike any other. It will keep you entertained while also giving you the methods to see progress and break past those weight loss plateaus, giving you everything you will need to make your body transformation attainable. So if you want to experience 5th Stage Keto with this 1-2 combo, then head over to burnitnutrition.com to get access to this powerful body transformation resource. I have created a coupon code for my podcast listeners, so use promo code BURNIT. This will give you $5 off at checkout. Again, head over to burnitnutrition.com and use coupon code BURNIT and get the body you have always wanted. I also want to tell you about this amazing skincare product that I have been using to battle the stretch marks that come with weight loss. I have been using the product called Body Butter from Fatco. They use actual healthy fats that truly nourish and heal your skin, allowing it to glow. Head over to fatco.com and use coupon code BURNIT to get 10% off your order and keep your skin feeling smooth and looking great. I'm so glad to have you with us today. Now, let's start the show.
Burn it. You are not alone as you begin this new stage of life. Learn the strategic methods to reach your goals and flourish the light within. With our guidance, you will uncover the hidden truths that have been missing from your understanding. It's time to let it burn.
A great American warrior, J.R. Martinez, once said, "I've learned in my life that it's important to be able to step outside your comfort zone and be challenged with something you're not familiar or accustomed to. That challenge will allow you to see what you can do." Words by a true survivor. Have you ever played a video or arcade game that was set on easy mode? I'm sure you were able to beat the level without breaking a sweat. Now, did you feel proud? Did it make you feel accomplished? Let me guess, it didn't. Well, that's because in order to truly feel satisfied and accomplished at the achievement of a goal, you need to make sure that the effort you expanded to reach it was truly challenging you. If you play any type of game and the level of difficulty isn't hard enough to really make you work for it, then the end result won't give you the sense of accomplishment you can feel good about. You could win every time, but deep inside you will know that anybody could have done it, since the challenge itself was too easy. On this episode, we will go into the importance of setting goals that truly challenge you, goals that push you to work harder, to press on when the average person would give up. Let's now learn about an epic journey that tested the abilities of two brave athletes, a couple that chose to raise the bar and leave their mark on this earth, taking on a challenge most would never consider. I want you to take a moment to imagine what it would be like to wake up in the middle of the open ocean and only have a 6-meter-long rowboat between you and the mysteries of the deep. That's all that separates you from the living dangers of the aqueous wilderness that is the open ocean. Imagine the thoughts and feelings when you know that there is no easy way out, no motor to speed you to safety, no sail to catch the strong winds hitting your face, no way to move closer to the security of the firm shoreline, other than the paddles on your side and the strength of your own 2 hands. But you are not stranded. This is not an emergency. You are out there by choice, on a mission to cross the Pacific Ocean with no other help from the outside world. To leave the safety of the shores of California and set out over the crashing waves to the beaches of Hawaii. Does this sound like an impossible mission to complete? Does it seem absurd to think it can be done? Well, that's exactly what a couple chose to accomplish on June 18th, 2014. This dangerous quest truly began many months before, in their preparation for this epic challenge. These 2 modern explorers were Sami Inkinen and his wife, Meredith Loring. They embarked on this journey to show the great abilities of the human body, and they used the power of the low-carb ketogenic diet to fuel the high energy demands their bodies would require. Sami, who was originally born in Finland, was a tech entrepreneur that had a passion for sports that tested his abilities. His focus and determination to improve was showing great results and was a champion triathlon winner for his age group. And over the years, he was also a multiple-time Hawaii Ironman finisher. He was in great shape and what would seem as in pristine physical health. But even with all his intense training and physical abilities that led to great accomplishments, his inner health was not as promising. You see, at this period of his life, Sami was under the impression that the mainstream recommendations of the low-fat, higher-carb diet was the healthiest way to live. Hey, we all did. But even though he had led a highly athletic lifestyle that involved intense training, his doctor still gave him the news that he was pre-diabetic. This drove Sami to dive into the science where he discovered the benefits of the low-carb, high-fat diet and began a shift in his own perspective, where he applied the mental strength that allowed him to upgrade his health. With the help of Dr. Stephen Phinney, one of the luminaries of the keto lifestyle, both Sami and his wife Meredith were able to implement a more optimal nutrition that led them to not just endure the grueling challenge of crossing the Great Pacific, but to do it in record-breaking time. They first estimated the 24,000-mile distance between California and Hawaii would take them around 60 days to complete. Well, they were able to reach Hawaii in only 45 days. But even 45 days in the uninhabitable environment of the Pacific is not easily survived. But they endured using the power of healthy fats as well as avoiding the sugar-filled processed gels that many endurance athletes take. You see, Sami and Meredith are great advocates of the dangers of excess sugar, and did this journey partly to raise awareness. Thanks to their efforts, they were able to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars that they donated to the Institute for Responsible Nutrition, which was led by the UCSF professor, Dr. Robert Lustig. I want you to truly consider what it would take to cross the open ocean, knowing that you would be doing it without the security of a rescue boat. nowhere to go in case of an emergency. Just you and your abilities to endure the pain of day after day of rowing, pushing through strong waves and ever-changing weather. Moments of pure rain and water in all directions. Dealing with the possibilities of getting lost at sea, or even the body breaking down under the physical stress. Threats from all types of dangers, from the fear of sinking or even getting struck by a huge ocean ship. That's what Sammy and Meredith were up against, and they knew they had to prepare. Sammy once said, "Preparation builds confidence," and well prepared they made sure to be. The months leading up to the start of their mission involved arduous conditioning that included resistance training, as well as high-intensity interval training, and up to 8-hour-long, slow-paced rowing to build up their skills. It's worth mentioning that Sammy and Meredith were not pro rowers. They didn't grow up rowing, but were new to this sport, and still they took on the challenge to test their determination and abilities in unfamiliar territory. In preparation for their challenge, one of the many factors they had to address was the caloric need of their bodies when under such high energy demands. They calculated their bodies would burn, when rowing 12 hours a day, around 9,000 calories for Sammy and 5,000 calories for Meredith. This meant that they had to find food sources that would not waste and endure the journey, in addition to not taking up much storage space in their small rowboat, which they named the Roosevelt, after our 26th U.S. president, who was known for the love of adventure and the outdoors and expedition. Well, that's when the use of healthy fats as a main fuel source came into the rescue. They were now able to pack 1 million calories of energy and more easily store it in their small rowboat. Sammy went on to say how they meal prepped. "We bought real whole foods such as nuts, seeds, salmon, coconut butter, dehydrated beef, and vegetables. We then created some of our own mixes and vacuum sealed everything by ourselves. We spent several days just packing our food, but it was worth it." This reminds me of a saying, "If you fail to plan, then you'll plan to fail." This method of nutrition made them able to complete their mission looking healthy and feeling great. But this challenge was more than just a physical one. This long and dangerous mission also put their marriage to the test. The isolation of the open ocean and the highs and lows of a long quest will bring out the weaknesses in any couple. But they were willing to put the effort and work together when it mattered the most. Before their departure, they even drew up their divorce papers and put them in a water-sealed envelope and placed them in the bottom of the boat. Maybe as a reminder of what's at stake, or maybe just for a laugh. Their teamwork under pressure and care that they had for each other made sure those divorce papers were never needed to be opened. And on August 2nd, 2014, they reached the firm ground of the Hawaiian Islands, breaking the world record for the fastest rowing speed from California to Hawaii. This was their own great journey, their own test that they gave themselves, which I am sure made them feel truly accomplished once they reached their goals. They were greeted with a traditional Hawaiian lei, but the transition onto dry land was a shaky one. They both had trouble getting the firm stability of their leg muscles back, which can be expected after such a disorientingly long expedition. The first thing they asked was for a refreshing, ice-cold, sparkling water. Overall, they looked great considering what they had just accomplished, and neither had any desire to stuff their faces with carbs. They simply continued their low-carb, high-fat diet that very same day. The keto lifestyle really is a sustainable diet since it's so enjoyable, but more importantly is the health benefits it brings. And now they can bring that great teamwork to raise up their new addition to the family. Many people would ask the couple, what's next on their horizon? What new challenge awaits them? Well, I would say that the job of raising a child is a hard one on its own. But whatever they decide to take on next, I'm sure they will take it on with the tenacity and focus they showed out in the Great Pacific. If you want to learn more about Sammy and Meredith, then just go to their site at www.fatchancerow.org. So, individually, we may all have different levels of intensity that challenge us, which is understandable. My objective here is to make you consider your own set goal, whether that is going through a body transformation or putting the extra effort at work for that promotion. Ask if you're being fully honest with yourself. Are you really challenging your abilities? Are you giving it all you got? Or are you happy just being average? But with only this one life on Earth, one chance to leave your mark, why would we aim our arrow to just be average? If you set your goals ridiculously high and it's a failure, you will fail above everyone else's successes. Words by James Cameron. Over the years, I have set my own challenges to test my own abilities and discipline. In 2012, I set a goal and gave myself the challenge of not having a single drink of alcohol for 1 year, to test how this would impact my life. I didn't have any particular reason to take on this task. I didn't have a drinking problem. I just wanted a challenge I could look back on and be proud of. The same could be said of people who embark on endurance events like marathons, or even more challenging endeavors like rowing across the Pacific. I was in my early 20s when I chose to take it on, just at the age many start to hit the bars. And yeah, I had several nights when my discipline was tested. Getting invited to go out surrounded by friends who were drinking and enjoying themselves was a regular occurrence, but I stayed with it. These were the moments that made it truly challenging. I didn't lock myself in a room, avoiding all forms of social environment so as to not to be tempted. That would be avoiding the challenge I gave myself. My challenge was completed on New Year's Eve 2013. And we decided to celebrate by going to Staples Center in downtown LA to see the comedian Kevin Hart perform. After the clock struck midnight and the show and fireworks went off, and everyone gave each other their hugs, I had a moment I will never forget. I knew I had accomplished my own set goal of going 365 days without one sip of alcohol. I showed myself that with determination and focus, all things are possible. Just taking it one day at a time, one decision at a time towards the goal, towards the mark that I set for myself. After the comedy show, we headed across the street to the Ritz Hotel bar, and I ordered my first alcoholic drink. I gotta be honest, it was one of the best drinks I've ever had. Not because it had anything special, but because of the effort I put in to accomplish my challenge. A personally set goal that allowed me to test my discipline and willpower on a long-term challenge. Unfortunately, back when I took on this challenge, I was still eating the crappy standard American diet, so my health didn't improve by much that year. But a few years later, I was able to apply this same effort and determination to 5th stage keto, which allowed me to lose 60 pounds of pure fat in 7 months, improving all aspects of my life. So, I urge you to look into a challenge that will truly make you feel accomplished when you complete it. It doesn't have to be as intense as rowing across the Pacific, but you should make it hard enough that you will remember it for the rest of your life. My current clients are taking on the challenge of trying the keto lifestyle for 6 months to see if in that time they can accomplish more, feel healthier, and have better relationships. And when completed, they will decide which lifestyle allows them to truly thrive. Embarking on a health challenge can spark up all sorts of other motivations to improve other areas of your life. It can be used as a catalyst for a whole new direction. If you ask any accomplished CEO for a fundamental pillar to their success, you will find that a common answer is the importance of keeping their bodies working efficiently through nutrition and fitness. This allows them to have the energy to focus, to build up their companies and keep pressing forward. So, what challenge are you going to give yourself? What will make you feel proud once completed? How will you feel when you look back at it? Now that we've learned the importance of setting goals that truly challenge you, we can now learn about the champion of all exercises, the deadlift. We will dive into this with the goal of inspiring you to bust out of your comfort zone. Now, the deadlift is a type of exercise that many avoid mainly from the fear of injury, or maybe because they're not sure how to properly do them. Don't make the mistake of thinking that deadlifts and weight training in general is only for meatheads. Weight training is essential for people of all ages and genders. Building and having muscle is crucial for longevity in the elderly, since it serves as an energy source if they ever get ill and bedridden. Meaning an elderly person that falls ill will have a better chance of survival with the more lean muscle they have. Women also shouldn't be intimidated by weight training. I know that many girls mainly desire to get toned. Well, the most effective way to do this is with weight training. And not to worry, you will not get overly bulky. Women don't have the levels of testosterone needed to build up huge muscles, so don't hold back and give it your all. Well, let's dive into how and why you may want to implement this lift. A lift that I and many others consider one of the most essential lifts for people of all ages and fitness levels. So, what is a deadlift? Well, essentially it is as basic of an exercise as it gets. You lift a weighted barbell off the ground and put it back down. The most functional exercise the human body can do. A lift that seems simple, but with all things, there is a right and wrong way to do it. But before we learn the proper ways of executing this exercise, we need to address why the deadlift is the champion of all lifts. In the last episode, we learned how our ancestors' physical exercise evolved, and one thing we observed was that in all eras of human history, we lifted objects. This simple movement that we do every day is basically what a deadlift is. Whether that is bending down to pick up a box or bending down to lift up your children, the movement of lifting an object off the ground is fundamental to our daily life. And this never stops. Even into old age, we still need to continue this type of movement. It is simply part of our life, which is why having a strong and capable back is essential. And that is where the deadlift comes into the picture. This key exercise improves the strength of your posterior chain, which will make everyday tasks that involve lifting much easier. The deadlift is also a compound exercise, meaning it works out multiple muscles at the same time. The primary muscle is the lower back, but it also involves the glutes, hamstrings, quads, calves, mid-back, traps, forearms, and core muscles. This makes it an essential exercise for a body transformation, since it will help build overall strength and burn more fat because it's one of the most metabolically demanding lifts you can do. This lift is truly challenging, and you have to focus in and give it your all. That is also why it should be done with less frequency. In 5th stage keto, we only train deadlift once a week, giving you enough time to recover. But being fully honest, I look forward to deadlift day. When it finally comes, I wake up with the anticipation of that glorious barbell. That moment when you put on the right jam that gets you amped and in your flow. The weight is racked and you step up to the bar. Just you and the weight, nothing else matters at that moment. All your focus and determination needs to be on lifting this weight off the ground. It requires you to ignore everything else and pick up the beast with all you got. You grip that bar, double check your form is on point, take a deep breath, and pull that weight like you were pulling the world with it. This is the feeling that you will not easily forget. That is a good pain that you will grow to enjoy because of what it does to your body. It is a pain that forces the muscles around your spine to adapt and become strong. And it all starts with the mental strength to take on the challenge. The deadlift truly is an effective lift when done correctly. And that is why we are here, to learn how to implement this key exercise correctly. So let's dive into the correct ways to include this champion lift into our training. Remember that the application of knowledge is power. Isn't learning fun? Now, of course, if you have any previous spinal problems, then ask your doc so they can clear you to lift. So, let's begin. A deadlift, by definition, is the movement of lifting a sitting weight or dead weight off the ground. And so, that is where the name comes from. Now, there are many different forms, ranging from the conventional deadlift to the sumo, the hex, and the Romanian deadlift. But we will stick with the most popular method, which is the conventional deadlift. Now, before any intense training, you want to make sure to properly warm up. I like to do some dynamic stretches. Plus, it's always smart to warm up using the same movements you will be performing, but without any weight on the bar. This allows the muscles that will be in use to get blood flowing into them. And this shouldn't fatigue you since there is no weight on the bar. I usually do 10 reps with just the bar to get started. Once that is out of the way, you will want to rack on the weight. Now, this is where you should ignore your ego and only lift a weight that you can handle. Don't try to impress others at the gym and stack on more weight than you should. Pick a weight that matches your current level of fitness, and as you progress in developing your form, is when you can increase the weight. Remember that you shouldn't compare your day 1 to someone's day 100. Better to focus on how you improved from the previous day. Now, once the right amount of weight is stacked on that fits your levels, is when we will begin the exercise. So how do you know what the right amount is? This is where I go back to form. If form breaks down and your firmness turns into a wobbly technique, then you should probably lower the weight. Okay, the weight is on. You then want to walk up to the barbell until the bar is above the middle of your foot. Then have your 2 feet spread to about hip width and bend down to grip the bar with straight arms that are lined a bit outside your legs. Your shoulder blades should be over the bar with a direct invisible line that connects your midfoot, the bar, and your shoulder blades. To complete the ready stance, you will need to hinge your hips by dropping them, but you don't want to go too low. The goal is to maintain a neutral back through the entire movement. This means the spine is not rounded since that will lead to excess pressure on the discs and possibly an injury. You also don't want to overarch the back. It should be as straight as possible. The lower back does have a natural arch, which is okay. You just don't want to overarch it or round it. Neutral is the goal. It is helpful to have someone take a video while you're doing this. That way you can see how your form is from an outside perspective. Also, if your flexibility doesn't allow you to keep a straight back when lifting from the ground, then simply place a block to help raise the bar a bit higher. As you progress, work on lowering the size of the block until you can place the barbell on the ground and lift it while maintaining a neutral back. What should your head be doing this whole time? Well, one thing it shouldn't be doing is getting distracted by all the eye candy in the gym. But seriously, your head should be facing straight ahead. Don't look down or at the ceiling. This will cause a degree of overarching, so focused and straight ahead. Once your form is good to go, you will take a deep breath and pull. Use your posterior chain and tighten your whole core and body to lift the bar. You want to maintain your chest up and drive the power down through your heels. The bar should come straight up, moving up your shins until you're standing and locked out. Make sure not to bend your elbows at any point. Your arms will always stay straight. It will help stabilize the weight, and again, your abs and entire body will be tight throughout the whole exercise. When you have lifted the weight, you want to avoid hyperextending at the top. Again, this will place excess pressure on one side of the spinal disc. Avoid this and keep your back straight when standing up and holding the weight. Now, when you go to lower the weight, your hips should be the first to move back, which will begin to lower the bar in a vertical line straight down. Also, don't drop the weight. This lets gravity do all the work. You want to smoothly lower the weight. This will require more effort and give you a better workout. Then, rest for 1 second between each rep and repeat. And that is how to properly do a deadlift. Are you up for the challenge? Now, some other things to consider. There are 2 main grips that can be used. The standard double overhand grip, which is great to start with, and then there's the mixed grip. It is best to start with the standard grip, which is gripping the bar with both of your palms facing you. And as you progress and have improved your form and have now stacked on more weight, you can change to a mixed grip. This places one palm facing you while the other is the opposite and faces away from you. This helps you lift more weight. Your grip strength will be a big factor to deal with at first, since it may not be strong enough to hold the weight your legs can carry. But as the weeks progress, this too will improve. As far as gloves are concerned, I wouldn't recommend them, or wrist straps, at least not when first starting. This is because you want to build up the strength of your hands, and using them will prevent you from doing this effectively. But if you feel you must, then go ahead. Personally, I like seeing my hands after deadlifting. They are evidence that I put the hard work, and I wear them proudly. Now, as far as weightlifting belts go, they definitely can help you lift more weight. They are useful in helping stabilize your back and give your abs and core something to push off from. But they are not needed when first starting out. They are more for heavy power lifters who push serious weight. Plus, they will not make up for bad form. I can't emphasize this enough, the importance of focusing on proper form before stacking on more weight. You may get away with sloppy form when you only have a little weight on, but if you attempt heavy sets with bad form, then you're just asking for an injury. So, my aim was to give you an idea on why resistance training is so important for people of all ages and fitness levels. I also hope this breakdown of the proper way to deadlift will encourage you to consider this champion lift. This is just one of the key lifts that is included in the 5th stage keto body transformation plan. We have reached this segment of the show where we talk about some yummier ways to nourish our bodies. So what's on the menu today? Today, in honor of our brave athletes from the start of the show, we will be having a keto version of the Poke Bowl. If you love sushi like I do, then you're going to love this refreshing dish full of healthy fats and flavor, without the excess carbs. We will be replacing the rice with low-carb cauliflower rice that will give us some similar texture that comes in the traditional Poke Bowl. I have posted the full details on the Burn It Nutrition website. So, here's what you need. First, purchase wild-caught salmon or tuna, or both, and make sure it has been frozen solid for more than 24 hours to ensure the bacteria has been destroyed. Once that is taken care of and you're ready to cook, you will first wash and pat dry the salmon or tuna. Next, cut it into smaller pieces, about half an inch in size. Then, in a bowl, add the coconut aminos, fresh lemon juice, sriracha, coconut vinegar, minced garlic, sesame oil, MCT oil, sea salt, sesame seeds, and mix them all in with the salmon or tuna. Then, place it in a covered bowl and inside your fridge. Next, cut the cauliflower into smaller florets and add to the food processor for blending. Blend until it has the consistency of rice, but don't overdo it or else it'll turn into a puree. Once done, place a large frying pan over medium-high heat. Add the butter, then add the now riced cauliflower. Also add in the seasoning, the oregano and salt and pepper to taste, and cook for around 10 minutes. Make sure to stir it to avoid burning. Then separate the cauliflower rice into 2 large bowls. Then, split the leafy greens in half and place on top of each cauliflower rice bowl. Next, split the marinated salmon or tuna in 2 and add each to the bowl. Next, peel and remove the seed from an avocado and slice. Then serve half to each bowl. Then, thinly slice the green onions and add them on top. Next, chop some cilantro and add it as well. Then, peel and chop the cucumber and split between bowls. Lastly, sprinkle a bit more sesame seeds on each bowl and enjoy. This will be a delicious and refreshing option on those hot summer days. This marks the end of episode 6 of the Burn It Nutrition podcast. The goal is to get better with every show and continue to bring awesome and inspiring stories to your ears. I also wish you see the significance of setting goals that are worthy of great effort. Challenges that push you and force you to press on when your old self would tell you to just quit. These moments, when taken on with the right attitude and determination to succeed, can have the ability to change the outcome of your story. So what goals are you setting? What challenges are you going to take on? How will you push yourself to improve? It doesn't have to be an extreme expedition. It can simply start with a decision to improve your health. A choice to put nutrition and fitness as a priority and take on the challenge of change, of stepping out of your comfort zone and into the path that leads to your health and happiness. If you want some other encouragement, then follow our Instagram page under Burn It Nutrition. I will be posting some of my own meals to help spark your inner ratatouille, as well as some training motivation. Plus, you can see some of my before and afters. So, friends, keep that tenacity flowing through your veins. Continue to build up your mental strength and stay driven. Face your fears with the courage and sound mind. Be willing to learn and work to your goals. Enjoy the process of change. Greatness doesn't happen overnight. It takes daily progress. Keep showing up. Keep putting in the effort, and you will get there. But don't forget that this is a gradual progress that sometimes doesn't even go in a straight line. But as long as you don't quit, you can beat just about any challenge. I am opening a few new slots for my one-on-one coaching, so if you're serious about your goals and you want some help, then visit my coaching page at www.burnitnutrition.com/coaching. Well, I hope you join us on the next episode. It won't be the same without you. Now brace yourself, because it's time to let it burn.